Welcome to the Smith Sisters Talk Show. I'm Gwen.
And I am Crystal Smith.
And our guest for today is Michael Francois. Michael is a graduate of Southern University of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, earning a degree in broadcasting, in addition to a substance abuse degree from Southern University in New Orleans, Louisiana, a master's degree in clinical social work from Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. He also earned a CDL license from Coastal College in Hammond, Louisiana. Michael has been an author since 2009. His book is entitled He Disguised His Double D. So, Krista, you want to welcome Michael?
Hey, Michael.
Hello.
How have you been doing?
I'm doing well. How you ladies are doing?
We're doing great, Mike. You know, we haven't seen each other since we were hanging out in the summer at Southern University because all of us had to take these courses and we had to pay for them. So, I mean, we look great and we're still doing the right thing. But the main thing, I was reading your bio, we still believe in the Lord.
Oh,
That's
yes.
important.
Yes,
We believe
yes.
So that's from our parents' generation to this generation. We believe in the one true God.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I want to start by asking, Michael, can you discuss the internal conflict and how it was a driving force for the narrative?
Well, to begin, the narrative of the book, of course, if we're talking about the title, He Disguised His Double D, it's a hidden message there. So when I look at the individual, the character in the book, that particular person has a disability. That's one thing. That disability actually extends across the nation with a lot of people. Now, when it comes to that title, it's a title that he can only understand during that time because it's a particular pronunciation that he was able to do,
Okay.
unlike what the actual book means. So that's how I came up with the title of the book. And you'll understand it as you read the book because that's the hidden message.
Okay, let's talk about the book. Where is it sold?
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and all the other online bookstores that most people would know if they Google it.
Okay, what was the reception from the readers in regards to reading the book, Michael?
Oh, yeah, great question. I received some great reviews from individuals. They explained to me that some of their families may have had those issues as far as a disability. And the character in the book, they found that they could learn from the character because the character eventually finds his power and his empowerment. So it taught them a lot. And there was some funny moments in the book that were great, very humorous. And there were some moments where it took a turn and surprised everyone. So they said they enjoyed that part.
Now, that would be funny because Gwen attended NOCA, the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts.
Yes.
And she would play opera, and everybody in the neighborhood's like, where's this noise coming from? Where
Michael,
are these
you would
loud
believe how they used to
sound?
imitate
Oh, they
me.
used to imitate her.
Oh,
You would
my
look at her.
God, Michael, it was
They were
Really?
just like,
horrible. I mean, we grew up uptown, so, I mean, they
Yes,
didn't have
yes.
too many classical artists up there,
Correct.
right?
Rare.
So,
but they don't have a lot of classical artists around. It's like an
vocal
expertise.
artists, and
yes, vocal.
they
Yes.
used to imitate me walking down the street, going to school. Every song I sang, Michael, it was ridiculous, but that's
wow.
okay. It was horrible. I guess I needed your therapy at that time
Yes,
to
you
get
did.
through that because those little kids, I wanted to punch them in the nose. But
Well,
anyway,
kids can be cruel.
but
They
you know
can.
what?
during
I
that
should have
time.
called Mr. Francois. But go right ahead, Chris.
Can you discuss the internal conflict and how it was during this force of negativity and positive? How do you was there a different opinion from the males as opposed to the females?
Yes, many of the men that who read the book, they could relate to certain individuals in the book, but definitely the other brother who didn't have a disability because he had a lot of control issues, but many of the control issues were in on a positive note.
Very good.
Yeah, whereas though the females can identify with the other twin, which is the main character, simply because he had to rely on
And what
the
was the
other
name
brother.
character's name?
The other brother, I'm sure Gwen, you read it.
Yes.
And who is that other?
I'd rather you to tell a story about your novel, your book. Go ahead.
Yes.
Well, let me say this: the other character, Robbie, and the other one we call Roby.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
and for the most part, the other character really could, as I stated, could relate to identify with the guys more. Whereas though the females, they would really depend on the other brother, simply because the other brother was kind of weak and he had to depend on his older brother to advocate for him in many ways. And you'll find that today with a lot of siblings, where you have an older sibling who advocates protect them. And
Yes.
this is what that other brother did for his younger brother.
And let me tell you something that happened, experience that we had. Irvin Mayfield, a friend of ours, his
Right.
mom, his youngest brother, Shay had special needs, and she was always there taking care of his special needs. She taught special needs, so she knew how to deal with it. When she later on in life had a heart condition, do you know Shay learned how to drive
And took care of his mother.
and took care of his mother?
See that? See that? See, when individuals have a disability, and like the character in the book, sometimes we underestimate their capabilities, their strength. And that's what I like about this character. He eventually found it, but he had to go through the forest.
Oh, Lord.
And with his brother advocating for him, but unfortunately there were times where you can enable a person.
That's true.
Yeah,
So
I know.
lo and behold, he had to go through that, and ultimately he was able to find his empowerment. But it took a little test.
It would.
It took a test for him
Okay,
to
so
get
I
there.
think when you should think about that, like test, like cook more, because I'm the one that has to cook, and I'm the one that
Michael,
cleans
can you
more.
believe she's doing this
okay,
on the radio?
but
you know Crystal,
she
right?
is
Go
like
ahead.
she
know
thinks she's
Crystal.
still an artist. Okay,
Oh,
she thinks she's still an artist. Okay.
I see.
Yeah, you right. Artists don't have to work, right, Mike?
Right.
Let me stop and get back to the book. I'm just curious, Michael, how did you start getting involved with Have a Compassion to help disabled individuals?
It started in the 90s, early 90s, in social services. I worked with intellectual disabilities,
Yes.
formerly mental retardation. That's
Yes.
we don't use that term anymore.
No.
Okay.
Yes. So that became my passion. What I found was those individuals are talented and gifted. You just have to pull it out. You know that term where you plant that seed,
Yes.
you teach them, and eventually it could be watered. But they have to have the support system in order for them to get to where they are going to go, and whatever platform that is that they choose to take. And basically, I think the character in the book shows you this ultimately.
Okay. What year did you write the book, Michael?
It was 2009. I had to
Okay.
think of another book. 2009. Yes.
Wait a minute. So you've been writing a while?
Yes, I've been writing. I have some other things that I haven't published just yet, but I'm always writing because
So
it's
approximately how
therapeutic.
many books do you have?
I only have one book
That's
published.
okay.
Okay,
I only
published,
have one-
okay.
Yeah, only one book published. Many books that I can get published, but I don't know. I always like to make sure my storyline is good.
Very
Correct.
right.
And
Okay.
it's not my primary thing that I'm trying to get a whole lot of books out there. But I enjoy writing because it's therapeutic.
That
But
is
not
true.
only that, being a male
Yes.
and writing a book. Usually the females are the ones who write the book.
We are.
True.
So
That's true.
you would
Yeah.
open the doors for other males who would want to write a book, but they see that the genre is really filled with more females than
Yes,
males.
Yes, I do get that, where some guys who have never thought about writing, never thought about reading, they are inspired after they read the book. And some of them are now exploring writing a book. So, of course, they came to me and asked me for the tools to
Yes.
be able to write. And I like that. That's pretty good.
I'd like to ask you, Michael, how did you get the vibe? How did you get in the vibe of writing? I know I have to listen to music to get in the vibe to sing. So how did you get into the vibe to write books?
I was always a person who was witty. And
That's true.
and with that, I
You can't
was
take
able
both
to.
of them on here on the sidekicks.
Yeah, we
Okay,
gonna
go
team you
ahead,
up.
go for it.
We actually, my sibling and I, we used to joke around together. But I would always put my joking on paper, and made it very humorous and funny for people to laugh and read. I would like to always enjoyed going back to what I've written, and so basically, comedy helped me start writing, and fictional, whatever it is, I've done a variety. So I enjoy, that's where it stems from.
Really? So Michael, let me ask you this regarding Roby's twin. Roby lives in his brother's footsteps to flee the cruel world, which means being ostracized by having his disability. How does Roby twin change his views of his brother?
Well, interesting question right there. The brother who advocated for his brother throughout life,
Okay.
dating, just a variety of things, school, he
Right.
masked his brother's disability simply because of he didn't want him to be ostracized. But ultimately, when we have family members, friends who have advocated on our behalf, sometimes they could do it to a degree where it could cripple us. It can enable us. Well, with this particular character individual, his brother did some of that. But at some point, you're going to have to fend for yourself. The question
Yes.
is how you do that.
Did he do it well?
And he did it well, actually, because the seeds were always planted, and it was
Yes.
planted for him to be able to have the tools to do what he needed to do in life. But he had to apply them. So his brother took a turn. His older brother took a turn at some point in life.
Okay.
Now he had to defend for himself because his brother was no longer there at that time. That's when the tools came up.
Oh.
That's when he was able to
strength.
realize the strength and all of that. So, yes.
I'm curious, was he religious? This character, was he religious in any capacity?
Yes, he came from a religious family, and just like adolescents, kids, boys, he was mischievous.
Okay.
But
Like Gwen.
like
Hey,
Gwen-
Michael, I need my sidekick. Come on, Mike. We got to go back on Crystal. We got to get
I
her
know, we're
from
gonna have to
college
get her.
days, right?
Yes,
We're
we're gonna have to get her.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so in essence, that particular brother, he had to take a turn in his life. So remember, we grow up, and we can't always be there when we want that person to be there because we have our own lives.
Yes.
Right.
Well, something happened during the course of their lifespan where the older brother had to take a turn.
And that's the cliffhanger, Michael?
Yes, and ultimately he had to fend for himself, and he eventually did it. He did it.
Well, thank God
Yeah,
he
did it.
He maintained.
Yes.
Because you were saying assisting people at a certain level. Attending Holy Ghost was a blessing because most of the kids,
Catholic
We're
school.
at Catholic school.
Elementary school.
we were all coming into ourselves
We
at
were.
a certain point. Whereas some schools, they think that all the students are on the same level. We had a great deal of help from students from Xavier University assisting us.
Yeah.
They also taught us about African dances at that time, which
They
weren't
did.
even in.
Oh yeah.
And they would allow the students from Xavier had graduated and were going on in the future to become doctors, lawyers, attorneys. When little people in elementary school can see that, it opens up your horizon, your possibility,
Yes,
everything.
Yes, very inspiring.
It is.
To kids when they can
I want
do
to
that.
ask you this, Michael, because you are a clinical psychologist,
Social work.
social worker. So if they had somebody who had a child right now as we speak who is listening to this radio show and somebody is like picking on the kid because they have a disability, and you know how we are as kids, we pick on each other, what would you tell that parent to kind of help that kid surface through that harassment?
Well, what I would tell the parent is first make sure that the parent understands the tools that you could have to be able to teach the kid. So we can't start with the parent and telling the parent what they need to do if they don't have the understanding that there are things that parents have to have for as skills. So once I provide the skills to the parent, then now we can do like a group session with the parent and the kid, not just the parent and the kid, so that the parent can trust the whole group, the entire group that's speaking with them. So I want the parent there, but I want the kid there as well, so that the kid can feel safe. Because keep in mind, the kid has a disability. So we have to build the trust, first of all, with me. And then secondly, with the parent, with the new tools that I'm going to give her, the kid has to be able to embrace them. So yes.
What about those little bad kids? You know, those kids who will continue.
They're hyper. The nuns used to call them extremely hyper.
Yes,
We
those
had them
kids
at.
that will continue
Okay.
to, mock this kid, harass this kid. As your book said, they don't understand the disability. What would you tell the parent on how to help that kid to navigate through the school with those other kids that just don't understand him or her?
Yes. What I would do is with that terrible kid, that
Right.
mischievous kid, that kid who can be very devious, I would do a group with that kid
That is.
and other kids with
very
the
good.
same issue, same dynamics. I would have a group and allow them to understand what happens to a person who has to endure that. Now, what I would do, I would model. I would have someone in that group become the victim and allow that person, who is usually the villain,
Yes.
I would allow him to endure what he has
That's true,
put on an
Michael.
individual, and then allow him to feel what it feels like. And so ultimately, yes, everybody will benefit. They will learn, and then the individual that becomes the victim will feel a little more empowered now. So definitely, I would do a group session.
Now, Mike,
with
I
all
was
of them.
thinking about what you just said. And there are a lot of bullies out here now. And they're bullying the kids. And I can, God help the ones that have special needs.
That's true.
But for the other ones who are just regular students, they have all this bullying going on. Is there anything the students could, not the students, the teachers,
parents?
the teachers could probably put in the school or take a course like this? It's on the same framework of assisting kids who are being bullied.
Yes, there are courses now out there for individuals with disabilities, individuals with all type of mental health issues, especially those that are oppositional, which means they're not good with authority, and those are any person that's in position to instruct them. So there are tools, there are courses in place for those parents and teachers to be able to receive, so they'll know how to approach. Every approach is not necessarily the same, but if you don't have the right approach, it's not going to work. So those type of courses will teach you how to deal with those individuals, and you can't go approach them in a rough way. You have to be compassionate. You have
Yes.
to understand. Let me tell you this real quick. With individuals that you find in school who have like behavior issues,
Yes.
a lot of them are masking the behavior issues. They're acting out because of the intellectual disability they may have.
I agree.
Or the learning disability
That is
that
true.
they may have. So what they're doing is trying to cover that. So they act out to replace that. And that's what you have to make sure you address. That everybody is special, everybody is good, everybody is great in God's eye.
Yeah.
We just
True.
all have disadvantages and advantages. So if we can balance them, we can move forward.
Let's take that to the college campus, Michael. All of us, you, Crystal, and I, all of us attended college, right? And I know you had students with disabilities on campus, and I study at a campus right now, uptown, and I see disabled students. What can you tell that student who's away from home, who is now on their own in the college scenery? Because, college can be crazy at times. So what would you tell that college student who may be listening to our show who has a disability how to maneuver through the college environment?
Hey, Mike, one thing I wanted to say. I think there would be a great deal of tools right there on the internet. I think if you could show them or refer them to certain things that would give them some type of assistance.
Yes, most definitely.
The college students.
And with the college students, I would basically let them know that there are groups and different types of groups that you can be a part of. I would have those college students join these groups. There's resources out there to know what is available for you in terms of your downfalls, strongholds as it relates to school or what have you. So the resources are out there, and I would direct them to those resources. We could talk to each person individually, but it's also good to be able to refer them to things that are available for them in society, on the internet, wherever, because the resources are there. Sometimes we don't allow them to research for themselves, and that's what we'll do. We'll have them to do it, and people feel good about themselves when they find the resources that are available for them, as opposed to us trying to feed it to them.
That's true.
You direct them to it and delegate them this and that, and then let them take charge. Yeah.
And then again, your book is going to be a type of tutorial for parents or students or whomever, and they will get tools from reading the book. Am I correct?
Yes. The tools are in there in the book. We have references in the back of the book where you can go. And a lot of stories, a lot of the segments in the book are helpful to many people. There are college things that are going on, activities in the book that people can relate to. I've had some of the women say, oh, yeah, I'm in that sorority. That's my girls.
Right.
So I'm touching on everything in the book that people can identify with, not just those two characters, but it's a gamut. It's a whole, it's like a gumbo effect. Everything that you need to know, it's in that book to tie this story together.
Well, you're right to say the gumbo effect, because in New Orleans, we different seasons we make gumbo, and some seasons we just make it because we really like gumbo.
That's correct.
So if they could acquire something from the book,
I figured
it would help. It would help them to say they're not alone. And some people feel isolated.
Right. Many people feel isolated. And I think reading the book from the men to the females, it kept them turning the page ironically, because I found it strange that many men said, man, your book was really interesting. I couldn't put it down. I said, well, that was my goal, to keep it interesting. Each page will keep you wondering what's going to happen next. So definitely that was my goal. Yes.
Now at Xavier, because I attended Xavier, Gwen did too. And the point is, at Xavier, the nuns, I think they take an oath to help the whole person.
They do.
The human side and the spiritual side.
Yes.
And they would gradually give individuals, they wouldn't push you ahead of your time to develop. And at Xavier, they used to spoon feed you a lot. And that was very good.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing when you have a support system like Xavier was supportive of the students. They were there. They were their backbone. They fed them. And basically that's what we should do as parents, therapists, teachers, the list goes on. When you're dealing with an individual who have issues, disabilities, you have to be their support system. And that will allow them to eventually get their empowerment. But if you don't have the support system, then they're bound to fail.
Mike, I wanted to ask you a question. Like I said, we have a lot of individuals who are listening to the Smith Sisters talk show. There was a senior citizen who has a son who is now an adult, and she seems to be struggling with him, like, short patience and what have you. And she's probably listening right now. What would you tell her to do to deal with her son? He has a slight autism problem, but she's older now, Mike. I mean, all of us, our parents are older. What would you tell her, if she's listening right now, which I think she is, to do and how to deal with her kid?
Excuse me, Mike, I'd like to interject. In reference to parents, I think they have to have time out for themselves. Because when you're under that much pressure of dealing with a child that you really...
and you raised him. He's an adult now, Crystal.
Right. But what I'm saying is the parents never get time out. I think there's going to have to be an organization or some type of help at the churches, wherever, to have them get that time away so they can regroup and come back?
Well, Crystal, you said something that I was about to actually say. When it comes to an individual who has autism, whatever the disability is, and they're now adults, then yes, they have to have a break. And what's out there for that individual, you got day programs for adults. Whereas if you don't want that person in a group home setting with other people like themselves, like them, you can put them in a day program where as though they can socialize with other people like them, to gain their independence, learn about skills, and give that parent a break. Now, keep in mind, they are an adult, and you want them to feel independent, but you still have to have the supports in place for that person to feel that. And day programs will do that. There's other resources out there too. Independent living, community homes, community apartments. You have all of that in place. So that's what I would encourage the parent to do. Seek out those resources because there are breaks for you.
Okay.
Michael, could you tell us the name of your book again and where they could find it?
He Disguised His Double D at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and other online bookstores. You can find it.
Okay, I just wanted to say Michael is a Kappa man for sure, right?
Yes. Yeah. What up, noobs? What up, noobs?
There you go. So look, what is the message do you hope to convey to readers through Robbie's journey of discovering his inner strength and achieving empowerment? I'm glad that the Smith Sisters talk show was able to provide information by tapping an old friend of mine to come in and talk to you guys.
Well, I would conclude by saying whatever your issue is, disability, learning disability, mental health issue, you always have to know that if one person can be empowered, if one person can achieve, you can do it too. You just have to apply yourself with the resources that are available.
And thanks for listening to the Smith Sisters show. And what time do we come on, Gwen?
We come on every Saturday, 6:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. every Saturday, directly after the Rosary.
And thanks for watching and listening to, not watching, but listening to
the Smith Sisters Talk Show. Thank you. Mike, you want to say bye?
Bye, listening audience. Bye, Gwen. Bye, Crystal.